Breaking tonight, the severe weather threats impacting millions. Dangerous storms, flash flooding, and blistering heat hammering the south and central U.S. on a busy holiday travel weekend. This after days of life-threatening floods, dramatic water rescues, and tornadoes in the Midwest. Plus, brush fires in South Florida consuming thousands of acres, forcing road closures and triggering air quality concerns. Our weather team tracking it all. Iran says it's closing the critical Strait of Hormuz again, claiming violations in the ceasefire as Israel batters South Lebanon with a barrage of deadly strikes. But CENTCOM says the strait is still open for business with ships moving through. Officials from Iran and the U.S. in Switzerland. Vice President J.D. Vance on the way, working to get the next round of peace talks back on track. The fatal shooting of a pet dog sparking nationwide outrage. The LAPD releasing the disturbing video. Officers responding to a 911 call requesting a wellness check after a neighbor was heard screaming. A Tesla, allegedly on autopilot, crashes into a home near Houston, killing a 76-year-old woman. Also tonight, for the first time, we're getting a look at the chilling video and other evidence in the trial of a Texas teen convicted in the fatal stabbing of a fellow high school athlete. In New York City, horse carriage rides, a fixture in Central Park for decades, temporarily suspended following the death of an 18-year-old tourist. Chaos at a New York amusement park as a ride gets stuck, trapping more than a dozen children. The dramatic rescue. And America strong this Father's Day weekend. The young dad and former Navy SEAL turning his pain into purpose, now training to compete in the Paralympics.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday. I'm Whit Johnson. We begin tonight with the violent weather taking aim at the south and central U.S. More than 25 million Americans under flood alerts. Heavy rain pounding Biloxi, Mississippi. The governor declaring a state of emergency. The waterlogged south now facing yet another flash flood threat after a week of deadly and catastrophic flooding and dramatic rescues. And in the heartland, hail piling up in a yard near Minneapolis as millions are recovering from devastating tornadoes in the Midwest. And wildfires smothering South Florida, scorching more than 20,000 acres. Meteorologist Leslie Lopez standing by with the forecast. But first, ABC's Morgan Norwood leads us off tonight.
Tonight, the dangerous flash flood threat throughout the South as the remnants of Tropical Storm Arthur continue to unleash heavy rain. Overnight, thunderstorms pounding parts of an already soaked Mississippi, swamping roads and flooding neighborhoods, raising the threat for even more high water. Today, Mississippi's governor warning the state is far from in the clear.
There's actually an elevated flooding risk in virtually every county in our state.
In San Antonio, Texas, first responders carrying out multiple water rescues, waterways there overflowing. And in Louisiana's Red River Parish, this river spilling out of its bank.
Please, if you can, do not come through.
Flood concerns continuing throughout the day in parts of the South. And in Florida, a different threat. Emergency crews there grappling with massive wildfires threatening this highway. That fire now 97% contained. And that turnpike has now reopened all lanes.
And with the official start of summer is tomorrow, which of course means hotter, drier conditions and the potential for even more fires. Whit.
All right, Morgan Norwood for us. Let's get right to ABC's meteorologist Leslie Lopez. And Leslie, another night of flash flood threats.
Yeah, we might see scenes just like that. Let me show you what's happening. We do have flood risks that are elevated, especially into areas of Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, all the way out towards Georgia. This is going to continue through today, so we could still see, again, opportunities for water rescues. We also have flood risks over into areas of Nebraska, moving into Kansas. That's a significant risk. Heavy amounts of rainfall, about 2 to 3 inches per hour. And then we're also still talking about severe weather anywhere from areas closer towards, it looks like Lincoln, Nebraska, moving you down into Kansas as well. And we get to see that threat go down from a 2 to 5 by the time we're heading into tomorrow. But this is extending now into Missouri, out towards areas of Illinois and Indiana. So we still wait with the severe weather throughout this weekend.
Okay.
Watch and wait and see.
Yes, a variety of different challenges. Thank you, Leslie. We move overseas now to tensions and confusion over the Strait of Hormuz. Iran says the critical waterway is closed, but the U.S. military says it's open for business. This as U.S. and Iranian negotiators are in Switzerland for the next round of peace talks. And what President Trump is now threatening to do if a deal isn't reached in 60 days. Here's ABC's senior White House correspondent, Selena Wang.
Tonight, the freshly signed U.S.-Iran deal already fraying. Reopening the Strait of Hormuz is central to the agreement, but today Iran's declaring it's once again closing that critical waterway, citing Israel's deadly strikes on Lebanon and the blatant breach in violation by the United States of the first clause of the ceasefire agreement, which calls for the fighting to end on all fronts. But the U.S. military denying Iran's claim that Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz, saying traffic continues to flow and U.S. forces are monitoring the situation to ensure this remains the case.
The straits are now open. The Iranian military is now destroyed.
And tonight, President Trump declaring he won't tolerate tolls on ships that transit through the strait unless they're imposed by the U.S. if talks fail. But that's not in the signed U.S.-Iran deal, which says Iran will allow ships to pass the strait with no charge for 60 days only. Central Command says 55 commercial ships traveled through the strait on Saturday, the most in a single day since early in the war, but still below the 100 to 120 daily pre-war average. And tonight, it's unclear if traffic has changed after Iran's announcement. Tonight, Vice President J.D. Vance on his way to Switzerland, joining President Trump's envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner for the next round of talks.
I think we're hopefully making progress on the nuclear issue, making progress on the Lebanon ceasefire issue.
The deal gives both sides 60 days to reach a final agreement. I spoke to ABC News contributor Mick Mulroy.
The Iranians clearly think that they have the upper hand. They're getting most of the benefits that we never thought that we would concede to by any administration before we even get into the nuclear discussions.
And even before Iran makes any new nuclear commitments, or even before the tough talks begin, Iran is already getting the economic benefits. For the first time in decades, Iran can now freely sell its oil on the global market, Whit.
Okay, Selena Wang, our thanks to you tonight. Now to Israel hitting southern Lebanon with a barrage of deadly strikes. Let's get right to ABC's Britt Clennett in Jerusalem. Britt, what are you seeing tonight?
What we are seeing in southern Lebanon is a ceasefire in name only between Israel and Iran-backed Hezbollah. It was announced on Friday, but within just hours, Israel was pounding southern Lebanon yet again. Authorities saying at least 16 people killed, more than a dozen wounded. Israel saying it targeted Hezbollah positions in response to incoming fire. Hezbollah accusing Israel of striking first. Both sides showing a lack of restraint, the fighting threatening to upend those peace talks between the U.S. and Iran. Iran's foreign ministry saying the U.S. is not fulfilling its commitment to the memorandum to compel Israel to stop its attacks on Lebanon. All eyes now on President Trump to see what pressure can be applied to Israel and the focus on Lebanon as a pressure valve where this whole deal could unravel.
Britt, thank you for that. And be sure to tune into This Week tomorrow morning. Jonathan Karl interviews Energy Secretary Chris Wright and former Obama National Security Advisor Susan Rice about the latest on Iran. Next tonight, disturbing video of a Los Angeles police officer fatally shooting a 2-year-old family dog. This all happening after officers responded to reports of a woman screaming. She says she was actually celebrating the New York Knicks winning the NBA championship. Here's ABC's Jacqueline Lee.
Tonight, newly released police body camera footage shows the moments leading up to an LAPD officer fatally shooting a dog named Jameson wearing a Knicks jersey. Police responding to a 911 call last Saturday, a woman requesting a wellness check for her neighbor.
She's been screaming, "Oh my God," for 20 minutes, like something really bad happened.
Police officers knocking at the door.
Police department.
A woman answering, her 2-year-old dog, a golden retriever, St. Bernard and poodle mix, also appearing.
Oh, can you put your dog in? Put your dog away, please.
The two officers instructing her to put her dog inside, commenting on its size.
I ain't getting bit by that. Dude, that's okay.
The woman returning, telling the officers the dog is not a danger.
Please put the dog. It's all good, it's all good. We're not aggressive.
But Jameson gets past her.
Put him in.
The LAPD alleging the nearly 107-pound dog charged at the officer, who then fired 4 shots. The homeowner sobbing over the dog as officers look on. She says she was just yelling to celebrate the Knicks NBA Finals win.
With the department's use of force policy involving hostile dog encounters includes tactics officers can use before firing their weapon, like voice commands, chemical spray, and kicking. Tonight, the LAPD is promising a full and transparent investigation.
All right, Jacqueline Lee, we appreciate it. Now to a Tesla allegedly on autopilot crashing into a home near Houston. A 76-year-old woman was killed. Authorities say the car failed to make a right turn and was traveling at a high rate of speed. Here's ABC's Alex Brochet.
Tonight, questions swirling over this Tesla. The driver saying he was using autopilot moments before a deadly crash into a home. Authorities say this blue Model 3, caught on a doorbell camera, was traveling at a high rate of speed Friday night. It passed through an intersection, and moments later, that boom was the car slamming into the brick exterior of a home.
I guess it's too early to tell if the Tesla was on autopilot. So we're digging into that. That's a line of investigation for sure.
The Harris County Sheriff's Office says a 76-year-old woman was inside. She was later pronounced dead. The driver, 44-year-old Michael Butler, told police he was using the car's automated driving assistance system at the time of the deadly crash. Deputies say he was taken to the hospital and showed no signs of intoxication. He's cooperating with the investigation and has not been charged. It's the second incident involving Teslas in Texas in roughly 2 months. In mid-April, a Tesla driver said his car's autopilot suddenly accelerated through a railroad gate, narrowly missing a fast-approaching train. That driver said he had the full self-driving feature engaged at the time of the incident. Now, we've reached out to Tesla and have not yet heard back. Wait.
All right, Alex Brochet, thank you very much. Now to the chilling videos and other evidence released from the trial of a Texas teen convicted and sentenced to 35 years for the fatal stabbing of a fellow athlete from a rival high school. The case making national headlines and renewing the debate about race and justice in America. Here's ABC's Olivia Rubin.
What's your name, man? Carmelo Anthony. All right, see a little bit of blood on your hands there, okay?
Tonight, for the first time, a new look at video evidence in a murder case involving 2 track stars. Carmelo Anthony handcuffed after stabbing rival Austin Metcalf before a track meet in Frisco, Texas.
It's the alleged suspect. Okay. I'm not alleged. Okay.
The April 2025 altercation unfolding after Anthony entered this yellow tent belonging to Metcalf's team.
Last candle. Up down with the sun. जिंदगी बहुत है जाना है ওইটাতে কি করে উইকনেট ব্যাটেল এটা কি এটা সার্চ করে দেখতে হবে মার্কেট প্যানেল করে নেক্সট ক্যান্ডেল আপে নাও নেক্সট ক্যান্ডেল আপে যাবে পরে একটু জানো buyer seller रहेगा आप ही जाएगा strong tendency to get it. तेरे जिंदगी हो मैं तेरा दिल मुझको आजा है दिल का है उसमें ही हो आजा है दिल मुझको उसमें ही हो नारे नारे ना नारे नारे ना नारे 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 এই দর্শক কি অবস্থা হো 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 তো কি অবস্থা আপনাদের আশা করি ভালো আছেন তো বন্ধুরা, আজকের মতো ভালো থাকবেন, সুস্থ থাকবেন, দেখা হবে নতুন কোনো ভিডিওতে। ধন্যবাদ।